So I'm going to be making a vegetable curry. It's the first one I've ever made. I only have one onion, otherwise I would use two. And then I'm going to use, I did have 2 packets of Pasatta, but I can't find it. So I'm going to go with this. So I'm going to use that, some coconut milk, spinach, garlic, which I've got 2 because one's nearly empty, some ground coriander, some herbs, some fresh coriander, aubergine, courgette, tomatoes. So this veggie curry was really delicious. I can't wait to make it again. I'm going to make it again soon and add like some lentils and stuff to it. I feel like it's the sort of thing that you can really sort of adapt and change. So I started up by chopping my aubergine. I think I chopped it a little bit too small, but it was okay. And then I'm just going to cook that while I do the rest of my food. That needs to roast in the oven just until it's brown, about 20 minutes probably. I just popped some oil and some salt on. And then I started chopping my onions, my courgettes, my tomatoes, everything else that needed to go in. So my courgettes, I thought I would just put them on the roasting tray too with the aubergines because that sort of made sense, made it a little bit easier. So I popped them on, and then my other bits I will put in together. So I do know the best way to make rice. It comes out absolutely perfectly every single time. So however much rice you use, put in double the amount of water. So I used the cups. I put in 2 cups of water, some salt, some butter. Turn it up to high, and when it starts bubbling, reduce the heat to the lowest temperature. And then put the lid on and leave it for about half an hour, and it will be done like perfectly. Yeah, honestly, it works so well, so give it a go and let me know if it works well for you. Right, now I'm going to fry up all my ingredients. So my rice is bubbling. I'm going to pop the lid on and turn the heat right down. And I'm going to make my curry mix. So I've added my onions, my tomato sauce, some herbs, my actual tomatoes. You could just use a tin of chopped tomatoes though, that would work fine, but I had tomatoes in the fridge. Some spinach. I love adding spinach to my meals because I find it boils down to not a lot. It tastes lovely and it's so good for you, isn't it? And you don't even really know it's in there. Some red beans. So next time I would love to add some lentils. I think that would go really nicely with it. So I look forward to doing that. Hopefully maybe I'll make it next week. And then I'm going to add some coconut milk, and this gave it a really nice sort of like curry taste, which we really enjoyed. And then some coriander. So I'm going to mix it all together. And Curtis really enjoyed this. He thought this was really good. So he really wants to make it again and sort of just adapt to it. Although he thought it was lovely, it's nice just to change up recipes a bit, isn't it? So I added some chili flakes and then my courgette and my aubergine. I must say we are absolutely loving having our vegetarian meals. We look forward to it every week. For people, we were just not veggie people at all before, but we're really enjoying it. So if you haven't given it a go, then I recommend giving some veggie dishes a go because I guarantee you will love it. So you see my rice, it's perfect, so nice. It just always comes out so well. My curry, and then I served it with a little bit of naan bread. This was Cosmo's serving. So I'm going to be making a vegetable shepherd's pie, which I've never done before. I don't know whether it's really shepherd's pie or cottage pie, but I'm going to be using some spinach, carrots, potatoes, which will be for the top. I'll probably use some butter in it too. Herbs, aubergine, 2 onions, chopped tomatoes, lentils, and some stock cubes. And then I might also pop in some gravy, just to give it a bit of flavour, and some garden peas. So I love dishes like this. I think they're easy to make and they're just always so delicious, aren't they? And you can really add to them and change them. So first I'm going to start with my aubergine again. So I'm going to chop it all up, put it on a tray and bake that. And whilst that's baking, I will then get on with the rest of my ingredients. So I'm going to chop up my onions and then I'm going to chop up my carrots. Sometimes I peel my carrots like with the potato peeler. Sometimes I don't. Like if they look a bit like dirty, not dirty because I clean them, but like, I don't know, sometimes the skin just doesn't look very nice, does it? Sometimes it looks quite fresh, so I don't really see the point in taking it off. But yeah, I'm going to chop them all up and put them all into my pan, which is my lovely paella dish, which I adore. I'd love to get another one, but I have not seen any since, again, in TK Maxx. And now I'm going to peel my potatoes, which I've said before I'm really bad at. I cannot peel potatoes to save my life. But this is to make the mash for on top. So I'm going to mix up my onions with some oil and my butter. I'm using a olive oil. And I always add some butter, and then I'm going to add my carrots. Once they're soft, I will add some other bits. So I bought some frozen peas, and they're organic frozen peas from Tesco, and they were only £1 for the packet. So I think that's a really good price. I forgot to add them onto my food haul last week just because they were in the freezer and we'd already done the shop. But yeah, so I'm going to add my peas, my onions, my can of tomatoes, and I had a little bit of extra tomato sauce, so I added that in too, just for a bit of flavour and not to waste it. And now another bag of spinach. I do love spinach. I think it's got a really nice taste to it. So I'm going to add a bag of spinach and let that just simmer down, because it just goes down to nothing, doesn't it? And it adds such a good base to your dish. And then I'm going to add some mixed herbs, and I also have used a vegetable stock cube, which I'm going to add for a little bit of juice to my dish. I didn't want to add too much and make my dish too juicy, because you know when you get like a shepherd's pie and it's really watery. Yeah, so I added most of it. My aubergines, which are a tad overcooked, but it came out nicely. They were okay. And I'm currently making my mash in the background, so I always use my KitchenAid. I make sure my potatoes are really soft, and then I add some butter, some milk, and some salt, and just mash it up until it's really, really smooth. Horatio likes it when it's like really creamy and smooth, which I can't always get it like that, but sometimes I can. And then I'm just going to add it all on top of my dish. And also, I always pop some cheese on top. I just think it makes it taste really nice. And when it crisps up, it goes really nice, and Curtis really likes it. So yeah, it's as easy as that. And we all really, really enjoyed it. So I'm going to be making like a pork stroganoff. So I'm going to use some diced pork, just one packet because I don't need more than that. Tomato puree, a stock cube, I'm using a vegetable one, some paprika, garlic, sour cream, parsley, a little bit of mustard, herbs, onions and mushrooms. I'm going to pop it all up in here, and it should make a really easy dinner. So I wasn't sure how well this was going to come out because I've never made anything like this before, and putting sour cream in the slow cooker just seemed strange to me, but it was really delicious. Curtis took some to work the next day, and he said how much he really enjoyed it, so I'll have to make it again. But I chopped up all my ingredients and added them all to the slow cooker, which I love because I think slow cookers are just so easy. If you don't have one, I really recommend you getting one because you can just add sort of anything you want to it, and it just always works. So I'm adding my garlic, which I'm being lazy and using like a pureed one. As much as I love using my pureed one, I really don't think it's as good as actual chopped garlic. So do use chopped garlic if you can be bothered. I added some tomato puree and my spices. So yeah, basically just add everything together, put it in the slow cooker, put it on low. I always put it on low in the morning because I don't want it on high, because then it just makes the meat softer if it's cooking slower during the day, I personally think. So I like to put it on low in the morning. But this was probably done by early afternoon, so maybe put it on a little bit later than the morning. But yeah, basically everything I showed you, add it all together, put it in the slow cooker, and that is literally it. I served it with some rice, so I have already told you how I make my rice, and you will see it came out really nicely again. The dish was delicious and everybody really enjoyed it. The only thing is that because my taste, due to my pregnancy, has gone a little bit strange at the moment, to me it sort of gave my weird taste that I get, and I think that's due to the sour cream. But yeah, I still enjoyed it. It just wasn't really the same, so I'll definitely have to make it again once I'm not pregnant anymore. It's the first time I've ever made a toad in the hole, which I found really strange. So I got my milk. I'll link to the recipe below because I used a BBC recipe. My milk, my herbs, my mustard. I used 5 eggs, although it said 4 because I used 5 smaller eggs, some pepper, some salt. I like the thick salt granules, and then some plain flour. So the recipe will be below so you can follow the recipe. But yeah, I'm going to make my batter, and I made that in the morning and then I left it in the fridge during the day. Yeah, they say to leave it for like at least 2 hours, so I left mine for quite a while. I like to add a lot of salt to my Yorkshire batter. I really don't like it when it's not salty. But yeah, and added some herbs too. So I'm going to make my batter, and then later on in the day I came back and I made the rest of it.
Wait for me. Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Oh, oh, this ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial. This ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial.
I am cooking up some potatoes and I'm roasting some carrots in the oven because I served it with some mash and some roasted carrots. But that's obviously pretty simple to make, but serve it with whatever you like. So I had to make a gravy, which will be in the recipe below. Yeah, you can follow the recipe. I'm just going to pop my sausages in the oven now, and then once they've been in for 20 minutes, you add your batter. But I do really recommend this recipe, but the gravy, I found that the amount of wine it told me to put in was too much, and it was really strong, and I had to add quite a bit more water to it just to sort of get rid of the really strong wine flavour. So I'm going to caramelise my onions in some sugar and then add some balsamic vinegar, it says, which is very strong and sort of burns your nose and your eyes. By the way, my top has got paint all over it. I've been painting Flossie's bedroom. That is what that is, if you can see the specks all over my top. But yeah, so follow the recipe, but I recommend maybe not adding so much wine, and if you do, add some water. But it was a delicious, delicious gravy. But maybe it wasn't really worth all the stress. Maybe just some normal gravy would just be fine. Just some packet of instant gravy. This is my completed gravy. It was really delicious. It just probably wasn't worth the stress that it caused. And then I'm just going to pop the batter over my sausages, which you'll see are bubbling because they've been in the oven for 20 minutes. And then this will go in for like probably around another half an hour. And it was delicious. Thank you all so much for watching my video. I really appreciate everybody on here. You all do mean so much to me. I really hope you enjoyed the video and you liked watching our meals and it gave you some ideas, and you'll make some too. So my next video should be Sunday, and it will be our vlog of picking up our new car. It's a very long one, and me and Curtis have a little chatty discussion after just about how the weekend went and the 4 children, and yeah, it's just like a little bit of an honest chat. So I hope you enjoy it. And thank you so much for watching. If you do like my content, then please do subscribe and stick around for more of our videos. And hopefully I will see you on my next video.